Hi everyone, Patricia Worby, Alchemy Therapies here, and part 3 of my series on tinnitus. Tinnitus is a common condition involving having ringing sounds, sometimes also whooshing sounds in the ear, and there are many different causes, some of which are physical, like the one I've had, which was earwax build-up, which can happen to anybody. It creeps up on you and then one day it'll tip over into symptoms, as mine did. There are also other reasons which are more perhaps emotional or traumatic, and I'll be discussing those in the next video. What I want to talk about today is my experience of having my ears actually microsuctioned. This is a new technology which has just come in. It is available to people through the NHS system, through the National Health Service in the UK. But only when syringing has not worked. And syringing is the very difficult, actually, procedure because it's not offered by all GP surgeries anymore. And it does have some contraindications or risks involved because basically it involves sort of high pressure water being actually sort of blown into the eardrum and then suctioned out. But at no point is the operator able to actually see what they're doing very clearly because obviously the ear canal is quite a small area. So my experience, which I've detailed in videos 1 and 2, video 1 talks about how and why this happened to me, and video 2 talks about my dealings with the NHS trying to get some treatment. In this video, I'll talk about how, having failed to get a syringing appointment, I did manage in the end, but it's so far ahead that I've had to take matters into my own hands because I simply don't want to suffer that long. To be asked to wait 2 weeks, and that isn't unusual, sometimes it's even longer, suffering these horrible symptoms of disconnection, deafness, ringing, pressure, pain is just ridiculous, really. Very sadly, I know the NHS is very pushed, but there is no excuse now to not offer microsuction, which is what seems to me a very simple procedure. So what I had today was, very luckily, I found somebody on the internet who offers this service privately. He is a clinical audiologist. He does go out and work in the NHS on his day job, but he also offers it privately from his clinic. He has a home clinic just like I do. And I was very lucky to get a same day appointment. So I was able to drive, park, go in, get my ears looked at, which I'd already had done yesterday by the nurse at my GP surgery, but she refused to treat me on that day, saying that I needed at least 2 weeks of softening before the syringing would work. Now with microsuction, that's not needed. You only need actually 2 or 3 days, and sometimes it can even be done on the same day if the wax is soft enough. So I had been treating my ears with olive oil as recommended by the GP surgery, and the clinical audiologist actually told me that doesn't help at all. It simply bungs things up. They recommend an olive oil spray, which is sort of micro pores of olive oil, which doesn't cling so much and cause problems. And he did insert some of that. He did actually spray that into both ears. And he then had a look, said both ears were really full of wax, which I already knew, thanks to the GP surgery. But he was prepared to treat me there and then. And he had the microsuction equipment, which looks, in all honesty, like a very simple piece of kit. Sits on a table or a desk. Looks like a sort of, maybe like a blender or a mixer, something like that. Has a sort of water container where the water, once it's suctioned out, it collects the wax. So that took 10 minutes. He inserts a sort of like a funnel device into your ear so he can really see, and then he wears a headset where he can actually magnify what he's seeing. So he's working really at very tiny details so he can actually see what he's trying to do and how to remove it. Yes, it's a bit peculiar having sort of a whooshy, loud, swishy noise in your ear, but considering what I've had for 3 days, it's not that bad. removed in 10 minutes, both ears, paid for, unfortunately, not available free. But when you are in pain, you will pretty much do what you need to do. And the cost, not extraordinary. I thought £60, which is about $75, $80 for both ears. And, you know, I am restored. I can hear again. The pressure which I was suffering from was going right up into my sinuses. When I woke this morning, I was just thinking, I feel really crap. And it's going to take a while for it to calm down, but it is calming down now. And to be able to hear again and drive without feeling disconnected and disorientated, to be able to hear my clients is so wonderful. So thanks to the audiologist who did that for me. And just to say, in the next video, I'll be talking about other causes of tinnitus, because tinnitus can also be a chronic problem, not an acute one like the one I've just had. So I'll be talking about causes of that, because it is to do with nerve signals to the brain, and they can get messed up, and there can be some chronic overspill of a nervous impulse which becomes entrenched, and that is what chronic tinnitus is, and we'll talk about why that can happen. All right, but thanks for listening, and here's to your health and healing. Do look me up, Alchemy Therapies, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.